Hello, I'm the producer, Jacob Cook, and Uptalk is a weekly, upbeat, uplifting, forward-looking resource show, offering expert perception and advice on personal growth and development. Uptalk will feature guests with inspiring stories and messages filled with informative, life-changing insights. The delivery of this information is through a blend of common sense and practical application. Uptalk will be a big assist in satisfying the hunger for knowing the path to success. And now to our hosts, Lou Vickery and Jason Will.
Here we go.
You ready?
Yeah, heck yeah.
Hey, welcome to Uptalk. I'm Lou Vickery, and there's Jason Will. Great to see you.
Yeah, is it? Can I get a camera pointed on me? Thank you.
Thank
Here
you.
I am.
Thank you. Well,
Good to see you guys.
I
Lou's fading fast.
Huh?
What?
Our guest today, Gib Leonard.
Yeah.
Now you know Gib. Mm-hmm. And you and Gib jumped off a bridge.
We did.
400 feet.
We bungee jumped.
Oh, you bungee jumped.
Yeah.
And the bungee came back up, huh?
It did.
I wonder what happened to you. Now I know, but anyway, did you hit your head on the ground before you bounced back?
Well,
up?
listen, before we jumped, we watched a video of a young lady that jumped, and her bungee broke, and she fell. How far did she fall, Gib? Like 100 feet?
Yeah, about 150 feet.
150 feet on some rocks and some water there. And lived. She lived. She was badly scarred,
Man.
mentally and physically. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she has a limp, a nasty limp.
Oh,
Maybe a speech impediment. But
why were you doing this?
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it was a masculine thing. You know, like we kind of like start out on a dare. You know, and we just like we're gonna do it. And are you chicken? And
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, sometimes it's good to be a chicken. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I thought when I got
better.
to the edge. They said, "Don't look down," and I looked down and I froze. Like
Pushed him.
They pushed it.
yeah, they
That's
had
one
to.
way of getting you off of there.
Yeah, it was a
Getting you
terrible
off dead
experience.
center is push, right?
Yeah, boy, I'm afraid of heights. So
Yeah.
even
am
talking
I.
about right now, I'm getting a little.
Boy, I remember when I got on top of the Empire State Building and I looked down.
Yeah,
Oh,
I can't.
man,
I don't
I
like getting near
almost
the
fainted.
edge. Yeah,
You know what?
yeah. So that was exciting.
Hey, well, tell us a little bit about our guest.
Okay, so Gib Leonard.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about him. I think he's a very interesting guy. So Gib is the founder of the Buy a Brick Foundation.
Buy a brick.
Buy a Brick
I
Foundation.
shot a lot of bricks when I played basketball, but
Yeah, I would imagine.
yeah, I did.
Yeah.
But I ain't bought any lately. Go ahead.
Gib's like having a studio audience.
Yeah, well, that's right. This is beautiful. Buy a Brick Foundation. But the stuff they've done, unbelievable last 16 years.
Yeah, so Gib went over 16 years ago on a missions trip, and what's interesting about Gib is he started looking at mission trips in a different way. So they're very, one-dimensional, or they have been historically, where it's like a one and done. And so when you go to Africa and you see, really, there's decades upon decades. I mean, the job's never done.
That's right.
Right? So he was like, how can I possibly come here for one trip and just think I've done my part? And so he's been going back consistently, sometimes multiple times a year, serving the people there, has, boots on the ground, 365 days a year doing work over there. But we're talking about schools, medical facilities, water wells, feeding the people, the breakfast feeding program. So it's a really robust job that they do over there in Africa.
And that's, I tell you what, you have to admire. Have you ever been on a mission trip?
I've gone with Gib, but I've been on a few. But yeah, I've been to Africa with Gib.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
good.
remember that story we told? Let's
right,
move on.
But that was too long ago. I don't
Yeah,
recall that.
I know that
Was it more than a week ago? And you expect me to remember it? Hey, I went to Russia.
You did.
Yeah.
I like how it circles back to
That
Gib.
was.
We're talking about we're talking about trying to talk about Gib, and then you just bring it back to you.
But I just want to know, when one of our guys fell in love with, been married a girl, and I brought her back and married her.
Really, they still together today?
Last I heard.
Maybe that's something we can do for Jacob.
Yeah,
Get him off this Tinder thing.
Yeah, but he's been tenderizing too many of them. Right?
Yeah, it's not really working out. Is there a membership fee, or
You have to pay a fee for that?
Yeah.
Tinder, huh?
Yeah.
My goodness gracious.
Yep.
Well, we're not going to say any more.
No,
We're not,
I think we get in trouble.
The boy is, he's struggling enough. He doesn't need us to say any more about him.
No, but we'll look into this mail order thing.
Well, we're gonna take a break. I'm gonna get out of here, and we're gonna let Gib come up and you visit with Gib.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, well,
sound like a winner to you?
Yes.
All right.
I'm in charge now.
How about that?
Yeah.
Who said you couldn't be in charge?
Listen, I don't know, but I feel like this could be my big break in show business.
NBC, they have talent scouts.
Yeah, me and Willie, Saturday mornings, cup of coffee, Today Show studio, New York City. Whew.
Man,
here we come.
Get ready.
It's going to be big. It's going to be big. All right, let's take a break. It's time to get real Lou. All right, welcome back to Up Talk. I am your new permanent host, Jason Will. Lou's no longer with us.
He's in the audience.
Thanks, Gib. Thank you for stealing my thunder. But
he's just waiting to fill in in case you blow it.
Listen, man, I was born to do this.
Okay.
No? Okay. All right, Gib Leonard.
Yes.
Buy a Brick Foundation.
Buy a Brick Foundation.
Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You have dedicated the last 16 years to the people of Africa, and I wanted you to talk about that. Like, how did that happen?
Yeah, the original, the way this happened was back in 2004. I was living in the Washington, D.C. area, and I was going to a church in McLean, Virginia, and 5 of us from that church went on a mission. I'll call it a trip, and I'll tell you that we don't use the word trip anymore.
Right.
But and we met up with a group from South Africa. And anyhow, we're an evangelical group, and the Lord really placed something on my heart that said, bring more than just the gospel. Jesus said, feed my sheep, and that's what it's been all about. Bring the gospel, bring the message, but also bring agriculture, medical, and education. So we kind of use an acronym, SAME, S-A-M-E. Comes out of 2 Corinthians 5:17, where the Apostle Paul says you're a new creation. You've been changed. You're not the same anymore. I'm paraphrasing it, of course, but that stands for spiritual, agriculture, medical, and education, and that's what we do.
Well, I imagine like a lot of people have this kind of similar intention, if you will. They go on a mission trip. They're feeling convicted, but they come home. Then they've got the bills, they got the project at work, they've just got life gets in the way. And then beyond that, all this stuff, the labor, the materials, the wells that have been dug, the food that has been provided, all this costs a great deal of money. So how do you come back to the States and go, let me get a game plan to get this together without getting overwhelmed and just going about your regular day-to-day life?
Yeah, that's a good question. And there's a lot involved over the last 16 years. So what's the game plan? There really isn't one. It's the craziest thing ever. It's I'm not kidding when I say this. Visions literally come from the Lord as to what should be next. Because if there was a game plan, you're writing this game plan, and it probably would be this. And how are you going to do that? Mm-hmm. Right? But every single thing for the last 16 years has just fallen into place. Breakfast feeding programs, school after school, the Ministry of Education asks you, hey, can you take a look at this school area and see if you can build a school there? There are kids going to school underneath a tree. You know this because I'm just going to say something here, folks. Jason went with us to Zimbabwe, and we needed to drill a water well. He came back and raised $7,500 within 6 or 7 days, and the water well was drilled, and there it was. So when people know the need of starving people that don't have food and they don't have water, the compassion really hits them in the heart, just like it hit you. It just like just like it hit me back in 2004. And I just keep going, and I just keep going, and I keep going. And here we are, this is like 16, 17 years later, and we're still talking about Zimbabwe, and you happen to be one of the guys who went.
So you come back from that initial visit, you land back in the Washington, D.C. area. What were the next 24 to 48 hours like? I mean, what was the first step towards the Buy a Brick Foundation being born and taking life?
Yeah, well, it actually hit me while I was still in Zimbabwe.
Okay.
When you see starving kids and you see people without jobs, and we're talking, 95% unemployment, you're talking about fields that don't have any harvest, and all of a sudden, it is just laid on you. I mean, like, wham, it was just laid on me. You've got to do something to feed my sheep. And it's been a calling I've had ever since then.
So did you start messaging people back home or sending emails or just making a list of like, hey, these are people I'm going to talk to about joining this effort? Or
that's exactly what happened. Just start writing down names and sending out emails and sending out pictures and that sort of thing about what you did on this first trip. And I'm going to say trip, but
right.
I don't use the word trip anymore, and we'll maybe talk about that if we have time. And so already started getting ready, rolling for the next year. And that's what happened. It was just, let's get ready for the next year. And what are we going to do?
Yeah. All right. Ready for a break, Jacob? All right. We're going to take a break. You got to pee?
No.
We like to be very respectful of our guest bladders on this show.
I'm perfectly fine.
Okay. All right. Well, we have a lot of older gentlemen on this show, and typically there's a lot of peeing that goes on.
Okay.
So anyway.
All right.
Right, Lou? All right.
Can you believe that?
That's a tough one, Lou.
All right, welcome back to Up Talk. I am, again, your permanent host, Jason Will. Lou is on assignment, a very long assignment somewhere. Anyway, Gib.
Yes.
Your story is really inspirational.
Okay.
I want to talk about let's get real for a second.
All right.
We talked about food, water, shelter, agriculture. But what's really going? Let's get real. Let's pull back the curtain. Let's talk about life expectancy. Let's talk about the reality for. There's not much to do in these villages. So what's the reality of maybe sexually transmitted diseases and the fact that people will actually pass away from things that we get over the counter, ailments for, or prescription.
Yeah.
What am I trying to say here?
Well, okay, let's talk about TB. Let's talk about AIDS. Let's talk about young girls that are walking to school from their bush village to their school and are getting raped. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, it's a lot of tragic things are taking place in countries like Zimbabwe in certain areas. So I'll just give you an example of one of the things that we're doing. So in this village of Matezi, there were 28 boys and 22 girls sleeping on their classroom floor because their walk home was too far. And by the time they got out of school at 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, by the time they got home, it was dark. And the animals in this area are elephants, hyenas, and men. Okay? So we started in August 2019, just roughly a year ago, the Matezi boarding school, and we were asked to do this by the Minister of Education in Wenge City, which is just about an hour away from Victoria Falls, one of the 7 wonders of the world.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and so, but there's other things to point out here too. So the weather conditions. So typically when we go over there, or when I went over there with you, the weather was perfect. I mean, it was like 50 at night, 80 during the day, not a cloud in the sky.
Yeah.
But there are times of the year where the heat is very intense, and there's times of the year where it rains horrendously. There's a rainy season.
Right.
So if you imagine walking all this distance in intense heat or very muddy conditions where it's really hard to, every step starts to get very, very hard to make.
Right.
I mean, it's just little things like that people don't think of.
Yeah. Well, in this picture that you've just painted for us, the reality is this: the people that live in the bush of Africa, especially in Zimbabwe, which we know firsthand, if you don't get the exact amount of rain for the periods of November through middle of March to plant and to harvest, you are literally going to starve. And I mean literally going to starve, and so are your cattle, and so are your goats, and so are your chickens. So what's important for us to understand, like when you went over in June, I think it was June, right? Or July.
Yeah.
Might have been June or July. That was their winter. And their winter is June, July, August, September. And it is exactly what you said. 80 degrees every single day with no humidity. It is literally Groundhog Day. If you want to film something, Groundhog Day, you go to Zimbabwe, Africa for Groundhog Day. And we're walking around in shorts and T-shirts. And if you notice, everybody else, if they had a coat, they were bundled up and they were thinking it was cold.
Yeah.
Okay. We were loving it. But what happens is their summertime, it's 110 degrees with no air conditioning. You know, you sit underneath a tree and you get 10 degrees cooler, and that's your air conditioning. And they suffer from lack of water, lack of food, and that's why the Buy a Brick Foundation is such a great little organization. I say little organization, and I say great because we have done a lot of things over the last 16 years, but we're still a little organization that needs help from a lot of people. $25 a month, $5,000 donation, organizations, Gates Foundation, those sort of things. If they really looked at our bio for the Buy a Brick Foundation, you would see that we probably are doing things in Zimbabwe, Africa, that far exceed UNICEF and World Vision. And I mean, it's a strong statement, but I was told that last July by the Minister of Social Services and the Minister of Education. When you take an organization like ours that we built 19 schools, we feed 5,700 kids a day, and it's going to be over 20,000 kids a day by the end of 2020 because of the partnership agreement that we have with the Social Services Division in Wenge City, because of the availability of the corn that Social Services has. We set up a distribution program and a grinding program where we go and pick up the corns from the social services, we bring it back to our facility or to the school, and we set up a mobile grinding mill machine where we take this machine and we grind all these corns into their staple food, mealie meal, which you know what it is. You've had it.
Yeah.
Just like grits for, down here. It's very similar. And so now we're at 5,700 kids a day right now. We're getting ready to purchase another truck so that we can expand the program into Wenge rural area and Wenge City. And that was a direct result of the ministers of agriculture, ministers of social services, and ministers of education asking us, pleading with us, saying, your breakfast feeding program is so great in Wenge West. Can you move it into Wenge East? And we said, I think we can. Let's try and put something together. Let's partner together. So the Zimbabwe government and the Buy a Brick Foundation have got this incredible marriage that's going on right now that I think is going to expand into, the next 50 years and so on. It's a fabulous thing. So I'm rambling on, but I hope I'm making a point. And let me make this point now. Trip. So I'm going to look right into the camera. Mm-hmm. Okay? Don't go on a mission trip. Don't go on a mission trip. Go on a mission so that when you go to this one particular place, or if you're called to go someplace else, keep going to that place, because the Buy a Brick Foundation would not be anything if we didn't just keep going and meet the people, and they know us and they trust us and they see what we're doing for the community. And now the community gets involved, and now the next community gets involved, and the next community gets involved. And now everybody sees this, what can happen if you come together as a team. But you got to go, and you got to continue to go. So that's really my point about don't go on this mission trip. I mean, when people say mission trip, I kind of like go, oh, that is just the wrong thing to do. Yeah, it's great to go, but really what you ought to do is pray about going on a mission that never ends. Is that 2 minutes?
We need to take a break, Jacob?
Are you ready?
All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. I want to talk about why the breakfast feeding program is so important, and then I want to talk about the IROC Lodge.
Oh, cool.
So stay tuned.
All right.
All right, welcome back to Up Talk. I am your host, Jason Will, and I'm here with Gib Leonard. Gib Leonard, what is your official title at BioBrick Foundation?
Founding director of the BioBrick Foundation.
Founding director.
TeamAfrica.com.
Team Africa. Yeah, we need to plug that a bunch. Yeah. TeamAfrica.com. And you can go to TeamAfrica.com and set up a donation, a recurring donation.
Yeah, I think that's set up now.
But one thing we don't talk about a lot is is it Amazon Smiles?
Amazon Smile.
We need to talk about that because a lot of people, you can donate $1 every purchase.
Yeah.
And think about how many people are buying stuff on Amazon and not running errands to the store anymore. So they're getting those boxes and they could be donating $1 to the BioBrick Foundation. And this, like, you're living, breathing proof that every cent of that goes to either feeding some child in Africa, putting a roof over their head, getting them medical attention. Because I like to paint these pictures of these realities.
Yeah.
So this girl gets run over by a water buffalo.
Leona Sabanda.
Yeah, so that started a mission to, build a clinic so that because these folks, as Lou was talking about, 13 miles by foot from, places.
13 miles, one way.
So
walk to school.
This particular child who was hurt by the water buffalo, how far from medical attention was she?
Leona Sabanda was attacked by a water buffalo out at a school that we were building called Vulindlela. And she needed to go into Victoria Falls Hospital. And it was probably from there, I'm going to say a 3-hour ride for her.
Okay, so just so the audience is tracking here.
Yeah.
So what this means is, we know what happened with her, that we were... but lots of people don't have that miracle of being able to get an ambulance to come rescue them, and they just expire from their injuries.
They die.
Right? Yeah.
They literally die.
You've got, when I was over there, I saw restrooms without toilet paper. I saw kids playing with soccer balls that they had made out of literally lunch bread bags.
Yeah.
And they had balled up so many of them, and this is crazy, but they had balled up so many of them that there was actually it had the same consistency and bounce as a soccer ball.
Yeah, isn't that
it was
crazy?
wild.
Yeah.
It was so crazy.
Substantially smaller, but it worked for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
all right.
Yeah, so let me just finish the Leona Sabanda story.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because Leona Sabanda, a 15-year-old girl who was attending the Vulindlela High School that we had just really finished, she was attacked by a water buffalo. And she wound up with a compound fracture in her leg, and she wound up with jaw disfigured from the buffalo and that sort of thing. But as tragic as that was, this is a result. There is now a clinic called the Leona Clinic, and it is 200 yards away from the school that we built. And this particular clinic has got solar-powered water well that goes to the nurses' living quarters that we built, goes to the Leona Clinic, and that clinic now has round-the-clock health care for 4,000 people in that village.
Wow.
And Jason.
I'd love to see it, because when I saw it, it was just a shell.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. It's the Minister of Health that's been out there, and everything's approved and ready to go. The school, the Vulindlela School, and the Leona Clinic were on the Zimbabwe master plan, folks, for 50 years. And the BioBrick Foundation, the day after we saw Leona in the back of a pickup truck, all broken up, we started digging the foundation to the Leona Clinic.
Wow, that's so awesome. All right, so next thing I want to talk about is something very creative that I don't know if you can take credit for, but I'm sure a big chunk of it is owed to you, but the IROC Lodge. So I want you to tell us about the IROC Lodge, what IROC stands for. But basically, you have a compound that you own in Zimbabwe that is actually generating income.
Yes.
It pays for itself, but also helps you fund all these great things that you do for the people there in the country. But how did that come about? What does IROC stand for? Tell people the functions. It's not just for church missions, but they can actually go to booking.com or bookings.com and rent it. So take it away, Gib.
Okay. So the IROC Lodge, IROCK, and it's spelled out like this: small I, small r, small o, capital C, capital K, stands for I Rely on Christ the King. And this particular lodge was built so that volunteers can come to the IROC Lodge and pay $25 a night. You know this. You've been there. Victoria Falls is one of the 7 wonders of the world. And in town, those hotel rooms are very expensive. The Palm, the Queen Victoria, they can be $300 a night. Mm-hmm. So we built this lodge so that we would have affordable housing for the volunteers that came. Also, the IROC Lodge employs right now to this day 5 full-time local Zimbabweans that work in the kitchen. They drive, they pick up guests. We also started a company called the People's Link Tour and Taxi, so that when you come flying into Victoria Falls Airport, you get picked up by our company, takes you to the lodge, you sleep there, you can eat there, you can go out to the bush, the schools, you can go into Victoria Falls, whatever you want to do. So it's a great little compound. It's beautiful.
Okay.
All bricks, thatch roofs.
All right, so pause 1 second. Jacob's giving me the finger. I don't know how to read sign language, but that's not my point. But so this is an entrepreneurial show.
Okay.
Okay, and you're an entrepreneurial guy.
Okay.
You've had several businesses.
Yes.
And you had this gift where you're able to look, you go to a city, and within a matter of time, I don't know how much time, not too much time, you can start to assess where there are needs or gaps where you could start local businesses to meet those needs. And in Zimbabwe, you use that gift to come up with business ideas to add to what you're already doing to fund more of these schools and feeding programs and medical facilities and agriculture. So I wanted to make sure the audience knew that. I mean, because this is an entrepreneurial show.
Oh, great.
And
Good.
So, you probably don't know that, but it's,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it is.
I thought it was a fundraising show, Jason.
Well, didn't take long for you to take Lou's spot of trying to make the show all about you, Gib. But I wanted to point that out. I mean, using your entrepreneurial gift for something that's way bigger than yourself.
Way bigger than myself.
It's pretty amazing.
Way bigger than myself.
And so when I went to the IROC Lodge, we still had to shower with a bucket.
Yeah.
We still had to put a heating element inside the bucket, heat up the water.
Yeah.
And then you had to get a couple of those going.
Yeah,
and I remember mine. There was something wrong with mine, so I got zapped. I got shocked. Trying to get into the shower, and so yeah. But now you got like flat screen TVs, Wi-Fi, hot water.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like this is nice stuff.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's been a step. It's a step-by-step process. Because it's expensive to do, mission work. Even in Zimbabwe.
I would imagine. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
All right, how we doing, Jacob? We're doing good? Oh, how much time we got? 2 minutes?
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Wow. Wow.
Oh, we're going to take a break? Right now, or we got to take another break.
Okay.
Because this show too, Gib, it's expensive to run.
Yeah, it is.
Jacob, he's on the clock right now.
So let's go to the paid advertisers.
Yeah, we're going to go to our paid advertisers.
There you go.
Which is you going to Amazon and buying a book.
Okay.
For $9.99. All right, welcome back to Up Talk. I'm your host, Jason. Well, we're back with Gib Leonard, and this is the point of the show where we're going to ask for your money.
Really?
Right? Is that too forward? I'm not really I'm not a fundraising guy. So is that too forward? Are you supposed to be a little more subtle?
Me for my money? Or
no, we're trying to raise
them?
Yeah, how do we do it? How do you do this? What's the proper fundraising etiquette to do this?
We need your money. We really do. to feed the kids in Zimbabwe, to build schools, to build clinics. And we would just like for you to consider donating to the Buy a Brick Foundation. But your host has also been to Zimbabwe, and he will tell you it's a great time, isn't it?
Well, here's what I would say for this. I think it's important for people to hear this. That so you're going to drive around town from the minute you get off the plane to driving to the lodge and driving through the bush. You're going to be greeted with smiles.
Always smiles.
I mean, people are so happy to see you. They're so gracious.
Yeah.
The kids are so grateful for when you go, if you go and deliver food, they're so grateful for the food. They're so grateful they know the sacrifice that your volunteers have made. Not only, I've had them thank me for spending time away from my family, for traveling as far as I did, for spending the money for the plane tickets. They're just the level of gratitude is kind of overwhelming. And then when you see, because they don't have the distractions that we do. I mean, really, we're talking about survival here, right? I mean, that's their main focus.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, this is like, hey, let me get through today. If I get through today, I'm good. And what you see is the people that just don't take a second for granted. And that right there, the perspective of, that will instill in you and that you will bring back home, it is really, really powerful. I just I've found it to be like the restaurants in town were great.
Yeah.
You break it up a little bit. There's some sightseeing that goes on.
True.
You don't have to bungee jump like I did. You don't have to be peer pressured into bungee jumping.
Yeah.
But Victoria Falls is, as you mentioned, one of the 7 wonders of the world. We go on the safari thing. Are y'all still doing the safari thing?
Safari every time. Any team that comes, we take them to Chobe National Park, which is in the neighboring country of Botswana. We're also going to start taking people to Wangé National Park because Wangé is right down the road, and our good friend, and we had dinner with him, the governor, Pindale Nube, so you've met him. That's in his district. That's his ward. So I think we're going to try and start going to Wangé National Park more often as well.
Yeah, the food's really good. The people are friendly. It's a safe trip, a safe environment. And, you really get to see the fruits of the labor, the donations. I mean, some people just want to see. They want to go and see. You want them to go so they can come back here and tell what they've seen.
That's right.
They can be a witness to what's going on.
Yeah.
But you have some really big donors that say, hey, let me go see what you're doing with the funds you're getting donated. And they can't believe it.
Yeah.
It's one thing to say we built 19 schools. It's another thing to go visit them and bring food there and have 50 kids run out like you hung the moon.
Yeah.
With gratitude.
Yeah. It's awesome.
But I wanted to talk about why the breakfast feeding program is so important.
You're right. Okay. The breakfast feeding program is so important because, number one, it could be the only meal that these kids get that day. In fact, when we started the breakfast feeding program, teachers would actually come to us and say, thank you for this. Do you know that we have had 20 kids come back to school that had dropped out because they now know that they can get a meal at the school?
Yeah. So it's their motivation to come, but it also keeps them cognitively alert, keeps them awake, because you would have kids showing up who have walked 13 miles on an empty stomach, pass out at the desk.
Yeah. Absolutely.
They're like, Tech would learn. I'm going to take a nap.
Yeah. It's proven that test scores go up, and the breakfast feeding program is continuing to grow. I would have to say that's probably, 19 schools is great, but feeding somebody who is starving and has absolutely no food in their belly and may not have it for a day or two, I mean, that's really rewarding.
All right. So the last thing I want to mention, we only have a couple minutes left.
Okay.
But the last thing I want to mention, which I think is like super crucial, and this will resonate with people that have big fat wallets. Okay. Talking to these big fat donors out there that we're going to get from this show. But that the whole, the method of the Buy a Brick Foundation in terms of the work they do with the local people is that the philosophy is that this is a hand up, not a hand out.
100%.
And I think when you're just saying, hey, we're just going to give you this, we're just going to, throw some money at this problem, you are allowing them to be part of building this and part of the pride for digging wells, putting in solar panels, putting roofs on churches, putting windows on medical clinics, cultivating crops. I mean, there's a great deal of personal satisfaction these people get from this.
Right.
And it's powerful. It's like I said, it's not a mission trip. It's a mission that will suck you in and fill you with a great deal. It'll just warm your heart, really.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah. So you're an amazing guy. If people want to go to Zimbabwe, how do you want them getting in touch with you?
Okay. Gib Leonard at Gmail. GibLeonard. Gib Leonard at Gmail, or you can call me. My Alabama cell phone number is 251-270-9719. 251-270-9719.
Yeah.
Or go to teamafrica.com. That's take you to the BioBrick Foundation
Teamafrica.com.
Yeah.
Facebook message, cell phone, email.
Yeah.
If they want to give, call me.
Yeah. They all know you.
Yeah. I am building up quite a following, Gib.
Since Lou left.
Yeah, since Lou left,
you're going to be
I had to fill that void. He was one of America's sweethearts, and he will be missed. I'm sure by somebody, but anyway.
Yeah. I love you, Lou.
All right, are we done, Jacob? Oh, I think this means keep going.
Okay.
No, wrap it up.
Oh, we're wrapping it up. Oh.
Wrapping it up.
Yeah. So, Gib, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for the work that you do, the selflessness. I mean, this really is your life. It's your life's mission. And you have sacrificed a great deal to make this happen.
Yeah. And,
there's not like there's this huge permanent staff of people behind you. I mean, this is really something that you run.
Yeah.
I mean, you're in charge. I mean, you're wearing a lot of hats. So I appreciate you coming on, being an inspiration to our audience. And I look forward to adding a lot of more volunteers and donors to the program and seeing what we can help you do here.
Hopefully we can get some people to come.
Yeah, I know you will. And I know it'll be one of the best decisions they ever made.
Yeah. We'll be there. I'll personally be there with my wife, Lee, June, July, and August of 2020. So if anybody wants to come, we can tell you how to get the best airfare. You get to stay at the lodge for $25 a night. You get picked up by the People's Link. We can take you out and you can work in the agricultural field. You can teach in the school. You can build on the school. You can build on a boarding school. If you're a pastor, you can lead a pastor's conference where there'll be 65 plus bush pastors that would love to hear the word from you. Be encouraged. There's a lot to do, a lot that needs to be done. If we're all still around and the earth is still here in 100 years, they're still going to need it.
Yep.
So it's a real mission.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. No,
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm telling you, man, we could talk for 2 hours on this thing.
I think so.
I mean, and still have way more to talk about.
As long as interviews we've had, and that's good. I mean, it could have gone on,
Do you think it had something to do with
the surface of anything?
Yeah.
Really.
I think it had a lot to do with me kind of piloting captaining the ship.
Yeah, you did an outstanding job.
Yeah.
Whew, I'm glad you let me back in. You know what?
You're back.
I want to tell you did a fantastic job.
That sure was a quick assignment.
It was a quick
Were you on assignment in the bathroom?
No, I was over there in a chair sleeping. But y'all kept me awake some.
Oh,
but
good.
I was it was an outstanding interview, really.
All right, so what were your takeaways?
Well, I think one of the things is that it's a trip with a mission, not a mission trip, right? It's a trip with a mission. You go there with a mission. You got a purpose for doing it. And then I think that I remember what a missionary once told me. It says, the gospel is always understood best through action, what you do for people. They understand that. Words are words, but show me, what it's all about. And I really think the BioBrick Foundation is a prime example. That is the gospel in action for sure.
Absolutely. And I'm telling you, like you talk about like vacations, it really is like the most purposeful vacation you can take, and you will have the best time.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna make new friends. You're going to do fun things with the kids. Gib does magic tricks, and we sing with the kids. And you're doing faith-based stuff. You have Bible studies and things like that. If art is your thing, you could be teaching them, your primary skill. And so you're going to have fun. And then in the evening, there's a great deal of fellowship with the folks that go.
Right.
So
I would think music would be a big part of that.
yeah, music, devotionals. We peel back the layers and we get pretty deep into the Word in the evening, and then you just break for break camp, go to sleep, and you start all over again the next day. And like I said, the weather's beautiful, the food's great, and you're around people that just couldn't be more grateful for your presence.
How about that?
It's amazing.
Well, we really appreciate Gib coming. We're going to follow up with him. We're going to have him back maybe after the summer, see how the results were. But we want to, again, emphasize the website. Gib's email is gibleonard@gmail.com.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Team Africa. You know where Africa is located?
No.
Africa.
Yeah.
See, I wanted to know I can say it right.
You could say it like J-Lo says it. Africa.
Well,
Don't make me
anyway,
get up.
Team
Start. I will start
Africa.
moving these buns. Do not get me started.
Are we done?
Yeah, I think so. I'm starting to
I think
lose it a
we're
little
done.
bit.
Hey, don't forget Jason Will Real Estate.
.com.
JWRE.com.
Yeah.
We appreciate whoever this Jason Will Real Estate is, but we really appreciate him. Good people.
Yeah, he really splurges on you, Lou.
Boy,
and
he did. How
he
about
spoils
that?
you rotten.
Like our board, I think that's great. You
Yeah.
really did good.
Thank you.
And we again, we want to thank Gib for coming. And that
takes us
that
out.
does it.
TeamAfrica.com. TeamAfrica.com.
Hey, until next time, I'm Lou Vickery, so keep a smile on your face, keep happiness in your heart, keep optimism on your tongue. That's pretty good, don't you think?
Yeah, it's really good.
There you
Good
go.
delivery. I loved every second of that.
Until next time, you have a great time. I love it.
Yeah, just keep it.
Tenderizing, huh?
Tenderizing.
He's on tender.
Who's the victim, though?
I don't know. Got a match.
You know what?
Yeah.
The
Who is it?
last one had,
Jason?
The last
Who or
one had
me?
green hair on this side and pink on that side.
Yeah.
He tenderized her.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I wouldn't call it that.
Got a new
Listen,
name for it,
Jacob's-
tenderizing.
Jacob's a gentleman.
Yes.
Before you put them on the grill, yet.
Yeah. Oh, boy. What's happened? And don't act like you never put a pair of panties on your head.
Hey, I want you to know something. Real men.
Okay,
wear
Jacob,
pink panties
now
on
you
their
know.
head.
Yeah.
Okay? So whenever he says something, just go, big panties. Or if you really want to get him, you do like when we talked about the Family Feud, just go, cupine. Cupine. That's
World.
Steve Harvey's famous
We're gonna be
famous
lucky
line.
to get
You know what I'm
through
talking about?
I think so, yeah.
What follows pork? So somebody said like pork loin. This one goes cupine. Pork cupine. But he didn't say porcupine. He just went
I tell you
cupine.
what, I love Steve Harvey. He's got some expressions.
Oh, he's hilarious.
Pull it together, guys. I mean, our ratings are low enough.
This is all for blooper reel.
Yeah, I love blooper reel. All right, let's get rolling, Gibster. You ready?
Baseball signals.
Steven
I think you just made those up.
Oh, they're not. You don't
Hey,
do that.
Before you start, I got to tell you this.
Oh, weird.
We had a guy.
Mamma mia.
We had a guy that we called him Spider. Where am I going with this story?
Nobody
Oh.
knows. Nobody knows.
Hey, you know the manager's, the third base coach is giving signals, right?
See, I told you.
Yeah, you're
Right,
right.
giving all these signals, and then he say,
Getting back to first, huh?
And then steal. That was his steal.
Just like it.
All right. I'm sorry. Yes.
No big deal.
Really?
Just
Yeah.
the Yankees. Are you
It's just-
sure?
yeah.
I don't know. I think
Yeah.
that's probably a pretty big deal.
I might have your rookie card.
I doubt it. There was only one release.
But he will sign a copy of this book, which all of our guests are required to buy.
But it's got your face on it.
Well, that's just a perk.
His picture's on the front. I autograph it. What does that
Yeah.
tell you?
Yeah, we had to
Okay.
sell copies somehow. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look at that physique.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, you're
I've
really
been
looking
bulking
good,
up.
man.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we made the book specifically with this body so he'd have the motivation to keep on his diet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Dan Vega, and thank you for watching our channel. I want to take a second to tell you about a resource that's helping thousands of people across the country, Blue University. Blue University is the premier online business school for entrepreneurs and business leaders. You know, if you find yourself in a day-to-day grind where you've lost your joy or you're just tired of struggling, then check out blue.university. That's BLU.university. I can promise that you receive nothing short of a multi-million-dollar education. And if you want a completely different life in 3 to 6 months and a way to create wealth in 5 years or less, then again, check it out. That's BLU.university. Find out why blue is the new color of success. Also, make sure to subscribe to this channel or to give us a good rating, but that's only if you see value. And when you do receive value, make sure to share it with someone else. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.